This is my Wu-Tang clan story. Um, Sometimes I work with other sales guys and we'll find something and the two of us will work together to sell it. And Peter Kehoe, he's out of New York, but Peter has a really interesting background. He's a tech and a sales guy, and he worked for Studer and SSL and Euphonics, and I think he worked for Neve. But he really, really knows his stuff. I mean, he was telling me stories where he was a tech for John Lennon, and John Lennon was doodling in the studio, and just when he was done with the doodle, he just handed it to Peter. So he has a really, really interesting history. I'd love to interview him one day. But he called me one time and he said he had this deal, and he said I should come up to New York and maybe we could work together to sell it. And it was an AMEC 9098 that belonged to the Wu-Tang clan. And I said, okay, well, I'll come up. He says, they're selling everything. So come up, we'll take a look around. And I said, all right. So I went up there, and when I get up there, this is what I saw. So I was expecting to see a console, assembled and working and, to check it out. But it seems like they were way ahead of me, and they had to take it apart and bubble wrapped and ready to go. And I wasn't expecting that. So you can see the first picture, you can see the console on its side on some kind of a dolly. And the second picture, you can see all the computers all stacked up, ready to go. And then the third picture, you can see more of the stuff on the dollies. But you can also see in the studio, I mean, somebody went crazy doing the graffiti, which looked pretty interesting. And then let's see, next picture. Yep, here it's more of the same. You can see all the bits and pieces of console, but look at the background. I mean, they went nuts painting that studio. I forgot what studio it was, but I think it was close to 48th Street. But there's a lot of studios in that area. And then, here's a picture in the control room. You can see the walls. It just was fascinating to me that this was all done in there. And then the last picture I have is a picture of, they had these gigantic, I think they were Dyne Audios. And, I thought I would get to hear them, but they had already taken them apart, and this is what was left. And they were huge, huge speakers. So this is, me and Peter never, put the deal together to do anything with this, but it does happen with a lot of sales guys. You develop a relationship and you do deals. And with Peter, I remember he was at a college and they had a bunch of consecutive serial number Pultecs all sitting in a closet someplace, and they were willing to sell it, all of them, if I wanted to buy all of them. So Peter got in touch with me, and I had the money, so I bought them, and I put them up for sale. And a guy from Canada wanted to buy them and have us ship them to Australia. And they actually went to, I think it was the drummer from In Excess. So I had to make all these arrangements to do all this stuff. And the guy from Canada did kind of a shifty move to me. He, after I bought him to sell him, he decided that he wasn't going to pay that much for him. So I was kind of stuck with him, and he says, well, I think I agreed to pay too much, and I don't want to pay that anymore. And I was like, well, a deal's a deal. That's what you said, and you got the writing here. No, I think I'll just pass on the deal unless you want to sell it to me cheaper. And I had the money in it. I was still making a profit, so I said, all right, I'll just do it. But some of these characters in the pro audio community, they're a little shifty, but I made that deal. But that was all through Peter Kehoe. And the last thing I want to say about Peter Kehoe, I'm going to put a link in the description. He's in his 80s now, and he lives in Florida, St. Petersburg, and his house got just demolished, but with Hurricane Helen. And he has a GoFundMe page, so I'm going to put it up there. if anybody wants to donate to him, because he has nothing left, and his wife has cancer, and I mean it's a sad story, and but he's a really, really good guy, and he's a great, great guy. If you're looking for gear that nobody can find, this guy, he knows where everything's at. But I'll put a link to his GoFundMe page. If you want to donate something, that'd be great, because he's a good person. Okay, that's my story, the Wu-Tang Clan story.